You're listening to the Spark Your Light podcast, episode number 265, a counterintuitive way to achieve your goals faster. This episode is for you if you have been told that helping other people will slow you down. Because in this episode, we're going to unpack that concept and prove why it's wrong and what you should do instead to actually help you achieve your goals faster and help you feel good and help others in the process. Thank you so much to SYL for sponsoring today's episode. So a couple of weeks ago, I was on a run down the shore. So we go to the Jersey Shore in the summer and the fall. And so there's a boardwalk and lots of stores. And it was a really windy day. And I ran first against the wind, which was great to get that done at the beginning of my run, because then when I turned around to run back, the wind was pushing me. So on the way back, I was feeling really good. And I looked at my phone where I use Map My Run, so it tracks the time. And I saw that I was going to have my fastest time that I've had since having Michael. So I used to run a lot pre-Michael, many years before Michael, when I was in college. And then I sort of stopped running. But after having a baby, I realized that running is a great exercise to do in a short amount of time. So it works really well with my schedule. And so I have gotten back into running more. And I'm competitive with myself. So I like to look at how I'm doing and try to beat my best time ever. And so once you know that you're close to beating your best time, then you get really into it. So I was really motivated to run as fast as I could. I was only running 3 miles. So I had probably about a mile left at this point. And the wind blew all of these carts. I'm calling them carts, but they didn't look like shopping carts. They were like all the way to the ground, and they held things that this store was selling. So one of them had a bunch of large beach balls in them. Another one had like other beach toys. And so it was all beach stuff, one of these stores. So these big rectangular carts that were on wheels. And so the wind blew them like all the way across the boardwalk, like completely opposite from the store. And there's this poor young girl who's working at the store trying to wheel each of them back. And my first thought is, this poor girl, but I can't stop because I'm trying to get my fastest time ever. Not ever. My fastest time since having a baby. And I'm so close. And I don't want this to keep me from that. But my conscience said, you have to stop and help her. Like you, if that was you, you would want someone to help you. You have no choice. So I reluctantly slowed down. I'm like sort of jogging, and I grab one of the carts, and as I'm jogging, I like jog it back across the boardwalk, and then I grab one of the others and jog it back, and she is so happy. The smile on her face was so big, and she just looked so grateful. And it was almost as if like just the fact that someone was helping her made this helpless look on her face just melt away. Even though I did not do a grand deed or anything. I mean, anyone probably who was walking by would have helped with this. But the fact that she was by herself, she was overwhelmed. I just happened to be the person that, cheered her up. But then what happened next was really interesting to me. I all of a sudden got this burst of energy and burst of motivation. And I started running faster than I had that entire run. In fact, I started sprinting. I just felt so good that I was able to help her, and that I stopped, and that I honored what felt right and genuine to me instead of being so caught up in my own life and my own goals. And that burst actually kept me going for quite a while. And I realized that I actually ran faster and I got a better time than I would have if I didn't stop in the first place. So by slowing down to help someone else, I actually ended up going faster and speeding up. And the same is true in life. When we slow down to help others, we actually help ourselves go faster. But we're often brainwashed and we're told that it's a zero-sum game, that we need to be focused on ourselves, that you shouldn't give too much away, especially in my industry where we teach. A lot of brainwashing goes on where don't give too much away or no one will ever buy your books or buy your stuff because you're giving away too much and you got to save the secrets. What BS? The more I help others, the more successful I am. And I'm just so grateful to know this. And I share it here because I think in our ever-changing, very competitive world we live in, it's easy to be self-focused. It's easy to just be focused on yourself and feel that you do not have time to slow down and help others. But there's always someone coming after you, someone who wants to do similar things. Maybe it's someone who wants to get a job similar to yours. And maybe they work at your company, but they're an entry-level employee and they would just love to have coffee with you. But you're too busy to have coffee because you have too many meetings on your calendar. Or maybe you are also a business owner and there's someone who wants to get into some of the things that you do and would love to have a quick call. But you don't have time to have a quick call because you're trying to respond to all of your client work. And so it's easy to feel like you don't have time to help others. And of course, you have to honor what works for your schedule and do it in ways that align for you. Of course, taking care of yourself first, all of that. But just know that when you do take that time to slow down and to help others, you really do help yourself. And I love the concept of karma. I think it's a wonderful thing because you know that when you do good, more good is coming back to you. I like to think of it as your karma bank account. You don't know when it's going to come to you. You don't know how it's going to come to you. And here's the key. You only get the karma points for your bank account if you do it without needing the karma. Like if you do it because you would do it anyway, that's the only way you get the points. If you only do something because you're hoping to get something out of it, it is bad energy and it won't bring any good energy back to you. But if you do something because it feels good, if you do something because you like helping others, then it will come back to you and it'll come back to you tenfold. So it will always, always, always support you. And the next time your brain tries to tell you, you don't have time to help that person, you don't have time to slow down, you don't have time to answer that email, whatever it is, remind yourself of this story. Remind yourself of the boost of energy I got on my run and the boost that you're going to get when you help others in a way that sparks you. So I would be curious for you to look at your own life and think about what sparks me. In what ways can I help others that sparks me? And if there's something that comes up for you that you're not already doing, I would encourage you to add that to your schedule, to think about how you can do more of that. Because so often we think that we're going to give back and help others eventually, when we make it, when we get there. But we miss all of the good that we could do along the way. You don't have to have it all figured out to help others. You don't have to be the expert. You just have to reach your hand back. I heard before, it was once said that it's like a third grader reaching their hand back for a second grader. I love that analogy because it just takes the pressure off of having everything figured out and just know that you can help. Know that you can always help and that your expertise and mentorship is valuable, and slowing down to help others makes all the difference in the world. So I hope you think of that story the next time that you are fighting yourself on not having time to help someone else, and remind yourself the value that it brings not only to other people, but also to you. Thanks so much for tuning in to this week's episode of the Spark Your Light podcast. I am so grateful for each and every one of you, and I will catch you in the next episode.